Hello, my name is Sarah Dietz. I'm a registered dietitian, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Haitian food and culture. This is a presentation as part of my master's degree in applied nutrition. Some of the objectives to think about today while you're listening to this presentation is to learn about the foundation of Haitian cuisine and really what that entails, the meaning of soup jumu, as it's a really essential part of their culture. We also want to kind of start to begin a familiarity of staple foods and meals. And then finally, we're going to look at some nutrition concerns with immigration to the United States or any other host country. To begin to understand Haitian culture, you really kind of have to look at their history. So Haiti was under French control from 1697 to 1804, and during this time they were actually very wealthy, and this wealth was based on forestry and on sugar-related industries. However, this really came at a price of both African slaves and land degradation. Then in 1804, Haiti's near 500,000 slaves revolted. They actually had a successful revolution, and Haiti became one of the first post-colonial black-led nations in the entire world. And throughout time, Haiti really encountered persistent political instability, and due to this instability, they are the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. It's been estimated that 59% of Haitians live on less than $2.42 per day. The financial climate is a source of shame for many Haitians, especially with such a remarkable history. Haiti's culture was also ever impacted by the 2010 earthquake that struck about 15 miles west of their capital. It was estimated to be a 7.0 magnitude. 300,000 people were killed and another 1.5 million were left homeless. And Haiti has really yet to recover fully from this earthquake. So the official religions of Haiti are Catholicism and Voodoo, and it's estimated that over half of the population follow the Roman Catholic faith or Catholicism, and only really about 2.1% officially practice Voodoo. However, it's estimated that a much larger number of Haitians actually practice Voodoo. It may be underreported because they practice Voodoo in conjunction with Catholicism, but it may also be underreported due to the stigma that is attached to Voodoo. And the quote that you see here is by Elizabeth McAllister. She's a voodoo expert at Wesleyan University. And she's talking about how voodoo in a nutshell is more about the idea that everything material actually has a spiritual dimension with it that's more real than what physical reality we can see. So everything living, rocks in the earth, is considered to have a spirit and have a spiritual nature. And voodoo is really not religion of magic and evil. It gets kind of that bad rap. Their gods or spirits are actually called loas, and they're worshipped to get good health. They think if the loas are happy, then they will be healthier and they will avoid more illness. And followers of voodoo actually do perform and prepare animal sacrifices to be given in honor of the loas. And voodoo is really a practical religion, and all parts of the animal will actually be used in that sacrifice, and food never goes to waste. But when you consider the economical climate of Haiti, it's understanding why they may eat different types of animals that we typically would not eat. So these religious influences carry over into the manner that which Haitian people view their illness and food. For example, many Haitians really believe in God's will when they become ill. So what this means is if they do become ill, it's kind of outside of their control. So they may be hesitant to seek Western medicine help. They may try to go more traditional, or they may try to find a balance in between a leader in voodoo and Western medicine that we traditionally think of. So Haiti food has been seen as simple and hearty fare for many years. Often women in Haiti don't have access to running water or electricity. In these situations, it is common to see someone cooking outside over a small outdoor kitchen or in a small outdoor kitchen like you see in the picture. And the use of charcoal stoves in the home are also very common. So Haitian food is often simmered for hours, and when the food is finished, utensils may not necessarily be common. And it has been said that often utensils are kept for visitors or guest, somebody that may be visiting the home, the family really doesn't use utensils as often. And when utensils are used or had in Haiti, they are actually made from gourds. And the gourd is a hard-shelled fruit, and it comes from the calabash tree. And throughout Haitian culture and history, the gourd has had a lot of different purposes. It has actually been used as currency and as a means of trading to obtain what that individual may need. And it was so common that the currency in Haiti is actually called gourds. It's spelled just a little bit differently, but it has carried over in that sense. So to kind of look at the meal pattern of what is most common, typically there's 2 solid meals per day. I'm not going to try to pronounce the French Creole or the Haitian Creole. So you can kind of see those different words on the slides there. And the morning meal is usually small. It usually consists of coffee, bread, fruit juice, and eggs. And the coffee usually has a little bit of milk and occasionally other flavors like cinnamon, orange rind, or coconut cream in it. Just kind of depends on finances at the time or availability. And juice is usually from tropical fruits, and it's really honestly very popular. I do some counseling here where I live, and I have some Haitian Creole patients, and almost every patient that I speak with, they consume juice at some point in time in their diet, which is something to keep in consideration when counseling, say, definitely like a new diabetic, because it is such a core piece of their culture and their cuisine. And also, too, hot teas and teas are consumed from time to time. They're thought more as a therapeutic drink as opposed to just a regular daily drink. And then the afternoon meal is more large, so it's usually starchy carbs like beans and rice, and also have meat in it as well. And snacks are usually tropical fruits like mangoes, grapefruits, papayas, and cherries. And Haitians may end the evening with soup or a hot cereal. The food that defines Haitian culture is very vibrant and tasty. It's an important part of their culture. Predominant flavor influences are African and French, which makes sense considering their history. And then that is also followed by subtle notes of Spanish and Indian. And also Caribbean spices and chili peppers are also a part of the Haitian food recipe. And extremely hot varieties of chilies are often used to offset bland foods and really give that kick and give that flavor. And here you can see a list of different types of staple foods. You can pause if you want to read them a little bit more closely. I'm not going to read them all to you. But as you can see, there's some different varieties that are uncommon to what we would have here in the United States or traditional American style diet. So you've got things like goat, guava, jackfruit. You've also got their different seasonings down there as well. So you kind of get a different idea of what their typical recipes would look like. And also here's some more common dishes as well. So a lot of spice, a lot of heat, a lot of vibrant flavors are included in this diet. However, perhaps the most important food in Haitian culture is soup joumou, or pumpkin soup. And this was a dish that I constantly saw whenever I was doing my research for this presentation. It is very common, and it's very interesting, the history behind it. Well, France actually ruled Haiti before the revolution in 1804, slaves were not allowed to eat this soup. It was considered superior to them, and they weren't allowed to have it. They would help prep it or be around it, but they could not have it. Then on January 1, 1804, when they gained their independence, it kind of became an annual thing on New Year's Day. It's customary for Haitians to prepare and to have it on the stove. They eat it all day long. If guests come into the house on Independence Day, then the guests are allowed to eat it. They're given portions of it. They really do. They eat it all day long. And it is a good combination of squash, potatoes, and meat. And some add pasta. It's just a little bit different on what is available and, kind of how each individual person enjoys this soup. And it really is just a celebration of freedom, and it is so important to their culture. So to kind of start looking at some traditional health beliefs, a common one that I saw often was that good health is from a balance of hot and cold foods as well as light and heavy foods. And maintaining this balance really brings good health, and an imbalance brings poor health. And heavy foods are for energy during the day, and they're consumed, in that middle meal. And light foods are for the evening time, as they're more easily digested. And food preparation may also help define what is light and what is heavy. And also, too, there's certain times it's believed that you should eat hot and cold foods. For example, if you've been outside and you've been working and you're really hot and heated, you should not immediately go to cold foods, as this will throw you off balance. And Also, too, it's believed that in certain age periods, age gaps, certain foods should be avoided. For example, teens, they're not supposed to consume excessive orange or lemon juice for fear of acne. And also, women immediately postpartum should not have cold foods for risks of hemorrhage. Tomato and white beans especially seem to increase this risk of hemorrhage. And a concern for nutrition educators is a traditional health belief that is kind of instilled in the Haitian culture. So Haiti, as we mentioned earlier, is a very poor country. And if you have an obese person in Haiti, they're kind of seen as a wealthy individual. So where that comes from is you have to be wealthy to be able to afford these foods in excess, which as we know as nutrition professionals, that excess food, excess calories leads to excess weight. So this should be considered when somebody is immigrating to a different country. Do they have that mindset? Do they think that obesity is almost, a way to define status? Something else we have to think about is those who have stayed in Haiti after the 2010 earthquake, they've really encountered some terrible living conditions. And this country is still struggling to recover. We think 8 years, it's been a while, but they're still struggling. And they have encountered issues with food insecurity, lack of access to clean water, and worsening malnutrition. So it's estimated that 3.6 million people in Haiti are food insecure and 53% are undernourished. I mean, that's over half the population that's not getting enough to eat on a regular basis. And this undernourishment leads to deficiencies, and most commonly it's seen in a deficiency in calcium, iron, iodine, vitamins A, B12, and C. Unfortunately, children have a serious disadvantage in regards to growth and development. Rated on the Human Development Index, Haiti has the poorest life expectancy, literacy, education, standards of living, and child welfare compared to other countries in the Americas. Leaving Haiti for a new country brings new issues. Their diet quality will be influenced by their new host culture. And with an increase of length of stay, dietary choices may worsen depending on where they have moved to. So part of this change can be attributed to an increase in economic status. This is especially concerning in the U.S. due to our obesogenic environment. And this environment is really characterized by readily available, energy-dense, palatable, and inexpensive foods. There may also be limited time for exercise due to jobs with long hours. So nutrition educators should be sensitive to economical issues in this regard. We may see our patients increasing in weight or a worsening of diabetes and want to make changes, but we have to be sensitive to their increased freedom of purchasing power. The Haitian culture is characterized by a strong sense of pride and perseverance. Perhaps some might say it is surprising that food can be so central to a culture that has encountered decades of food insecurity and poverty. However, the recipes are as vibrant and beautiful as their culture. Many Haitian chefs are learning culinary skills to bring back to Haiti, or they bring Haiti to new countries. Haitian cuisine has actually really become more popular over the years. When counseling Haitian patients, you must keep in mind their home country's struggle with malnutrition and poverty. Be sensitive to the fact that an individual from Haiti may have been impacted by extreme poverty at some point in time in their life. And discussing finances in relation to nutrition may be a difficult subject, especially for someone who may be experiencing financial stability for the first time. In addition to financial considerations, we must also sensitize ourselves to foods that are common in Haitian cuisine. Even if someone has lived in a different country for several years, nothing is as comforting as food from home. We must also consider that someone who has recently immigrated may be experiencing malnutrition, or they may not understand proper food safety at this point in time, or at the point in time you counsel them. And discussing a balanced diet as we see it may be an entirely new concept. Nutrition educators should respect the traditional belief of the hot and cold and the light and heavy balance while teaching new habits. Nutrition educators must also respect that Haitian patients may view their illness as God's will with little motivation to change. Educators should respect the patient's traditional beliefs as much as possible throughout counseling. During consultations, we must also remember to find appropriate translation services to ensure proper care. It is our responsibility to provide science-based, empathetic, and respectful, cultural competent care. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you remember our objectives from the beginning of the presentation. And these are my references.